Hello everyone, my name is Ronique and welcome to this video. Today I'll be presenting on transportation for New Jersey seniors. So in this video, I'll have a few options for low-cost transportation for seniors and those who are disabled. And I'll have transportation that is free and also options that are available throughout the 21 counties in New Jersey and different towns in New Jersey as well. So when we talk about transportation for seniors and those who are disabled, we talk about the accessibility to for services to transport seniors to and from their appointments. A lot of times seniors miss their appointments because they have no way of getting to these appointments, and this lack of transportation options, or maybe people are not aware of the options, they also create social isolation where seniors are not able to go to their social daycare because they are not aware of the options or they cannot afford transportation. So I'll definitely address some of the issues and provide some options that are available. You may either know of these options, and because of COVID, a lot of these services has been reduced or changed to meet the current needs of the community. As the aging population continues to rise, the provision of safe and accessible transportation remain a top concern for seniors and their family. So a vast majority of seniors are aging in place in their home, meaning that they choose not to age in the nursing home, they choose to age at home. So while they may need services such as home care, they also need transportation as well. So it's essential that they do not miss their doctor's appointment, and it's essential that they have transportation to take them to their daycare in the morning time and also to pick them back up in the afternoon. And also, it's essential for them to have transportation to socialize with others in the community to prevent social isolation. Options for transportation in New Jersey are federally and locally funded, and some of the options that you receive are volunteer transportation, which means that every county do have transportation services for senior and the disabled, and that is a good thing because you could receive transportation for free to go to and from your doctor's appointment. And I want to stress that most of these appointments, especially when it's county funded, is specifically to go to your doctor's appointment. For example, in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, in Bergen County, they have transportation for seniors. However, they'll take you to ShopRite and to buy your groceries, and they'll also take you to your doctor's appointment, which is a different option other than saying that you only have to use the services for medical appointment, but also especially for Bergen County, like the Bergen County Transportation in Lodi, they take you specifically to your doctor's appointment. And if you have dialysis appointment or you need to go to the doctor, and bear in mind that these appointments are not non-emergent transportation, meaning that if you need to go to the ER, please call 911. These are non-emergent transportation services just to take you from point A to point B so that you could get the medical services that you need. And also, there are other transportation such as the dial-a-ride services, which I'll also mention here. And with the dial-a-ride services, they're providing door-to-door services, meaning that they'll pick up the person from the appointment outside, and then they'll drop them off at their house outside. Like it's like a curbside transportation. So they will not take the person up the stairs and put them in the house. In some instances, depending on the driver, they'll do that, but generally that's not the services that they provide. So when you plan for transportation for a family member, please keep that in mind. While I'm not able to include in this slide or in the coming slide all 21 counties that offer transportation services, because this would be too much and I'm trying to keep the video as short as possible. But just note that if you live in a specific county, you could just go on the county website. Say, for example, if you're from Essex County, just dial Essex County Senior Services and you could put in the search bar transportation. I guarantee you could go to the website and find that number and the location, but generally you just need the number to call to ask about the services that they provide and the restrictions. So I added Cumberland Area Transit because I thought that it offered comprehensive services. And what I like about it is the fact that it provides services to Philadelphia in Pennsylvania and in Wilmington, Delaware, which I thought that it was awesome because some of the other counties, they only provide transportation to appointments within that county. So that is actually a good thing. But you have to bear in mind when you are making reservation for these services, you have to be able to make these appointments within 48 hours. And these are specific to the free county transportation provided by the county. So you have to make your appointment 48 hours before transportation and do so within a normal business hour, which is generally from 8 to 4. So another option we have here for transportation for New Jersey seniors is Access Link. So Access Link is one of my favorite because it's straight to the point and it takes out the guesswork. And this is not free. You pay a reduced fare. So Access Link is a New Jersey Transit paratransit transport, meaning that New Jersey Transit is the state bus company, but they do provide paratransit using Access Link, and those are like the small buses that has a ramp and they have someone to help you to get in and out of the van. So with New Jersey Access Link, you do have to complete an application. And I could click on the link here, but I'll provide it in the description where you could click on the link to go straight to the application. I believe the application is 5 to 7 pages. And here I added the number you could call and also the number you could fax your completed application. I have completed a number of these applications in the past. However, if you go to a geriatric primary care provider, you could ask the social worker or someone in the office to assist you because there's a part on the application where you need a physician verification stating the medical necessity, like why does this person need to use Access Link versus the regular transportation. So sometimes, and it's not complicated, sometimes I'll put on it and the doctor will certify it. I'll put they're unable to ambulate on and they're unable to sit at the bus stop. And maybe I'll put a diagnosis that may warrant that this person, cannot stand, this person cannot stand for a long time, or something that, necessitate that they need transportation. So I went on the website. I just wanted to read something that they had on their website. So they do have a telephone interview. So during the telephone interview, you'll be asked about your disability on top of what is on the paper. So they'll ask you, why are you not able to use the local fixed route transportation system to travel? And what is preventing you from using the regular transportation that they have, the New Jersey Transit? And you will also need to provide medical verification, which I mentioned before, of your disability and disability or disabilities. So that's not hard. You just complete the application. Anybody could complete the application. A family member could complete the application and take the section, I believe, page the second to last page. You will have to have a verification from a physician. And I like to add more to things when I do things. I like to go above and beyond. So sometimes when I help clients or patients to complete this application, I'll send a copy with their permission. I'll send a copy of their diagnosis sheet, and I may highlight like if they have, a disability, they have amputated legs, they have unsteady gait, or anything that would increase their chances of getting the paratransit. And also, I wanted to mention, if you have someone in a nursing home, and this is for like nursing home social workers as well, you're able to have Access Link, because sometimes when someone is in a nursing home, they may be able to go out and engage in the community with family members, go to doctor's appointment. They on their own, they may not want to go to use the doctors in the nursing home. So they are able to apply for Access Link if they want to, or if they had it in the community before they went to the nursing home, they could still maintain that Access Link account and they could call and use transportation to and from the nursing home. But they do have to pay a fare. That's what I want to talk about. So sometimes, depending on where they're going, I've seen people pay $1.50, $3. It depends on where you're going. So I know Access Link, I'm not sure, like Park Ridge, New Jersey in Bergen County. I know sometimes Access Link does not go to that route. So you have to be very careful to learn and know the routes that Access Link goes to before you call and make your reservation, or before you call and apply for this to begin with. And that's the process. You just complete the application, or you could call and do a telephone interview, and they'll send you the application. And I normally have this number that I call for, because I've used it so many times, and I'll just let her know I just send over this application. Can you review it? And they'll call the patient, and the patient will do the interview, and it's approved. So it's important to know that. And I really like Access Link because they're reliable in comparison to the others that they have available in New Jersey. So I guess because you pay for it in a sense. So I really love the services they offer. And you could also have an escort come with you. Say, for example, you're at home and you have a caregiver. The caregiver could accompany you on your trips with Access Link. And when they say they're going to be at your location a specific time, they are very reliable and they will be there. So I love that about Access Link. This is another option for New Jersey seniors. So Logistic Care. Many of you may know it by Logistic Care, but they are in the process of rebranding themselves. So they call themselves Motive Care, but it's still Logistic Care. So Logistic Care is New Jersey's state transportation broker, and they're responsible for arranging and coordinating transportation through their provider network. So what does this mean? So Logistic Care is not a transportation company. They handle the logistic by arranging transportation through outside providers. So they do not have fleets of vans or ambulance. So for example, TLC Ambulance or another ambulance company, Garden State Ambulance, they arrange transportation through those different providers. So they handle the logistic. So with Logistic Care, so I have on the slide the number to make a reservation. And with Logistic Care, if you're in a nursing home, they want you to call 48 hours. And you have to bear in mind, or if you're being discharged from a hospital, they want you to call, if you can, within 48 hours. But if you're discharging from, say, for example, the hospital after a surgery and you're going home, you don't have 24 hours most of the time. And this is the reservation number you call. And then the other number, which is the ride assist, you call that if your ride is not there on time. And then you have the complaint line, which I'm sure if you've ever used Logistic Care, or if you ever need to use Logistic Care, you definitely will need to know the complaint line, because they're very unreliable. The service, like, they are not reliable based on the complaints that I've heard from a lot of patients. So I always tell the patient and family members, like, if you need to be at your appointment at 10 o'clock, call and let them know that your appointment is at 8 o'clock. So at least if they come 2 hours late, you're right on time. Which that's, that does not work for everyone all the time, because stuff happens. And if you're in a hospital and you're getting discharged and you want to call Logistic Care to go home, say for example, you're expected to be discharged at 4 p.m. So your reservation is made for 4 p.m., but you have a 3-hour window. So they could come 3 hours within 3 hours. So you have to bear in mind that they could come between 4 and 7. So they don't necessarily have to come 4 o'clock. So plan accordingly. And this is for people who plan transportation, especially in hospitals as well, and for families to know, especially when they're expecting to be discharged at 4, they're not coming at 4 o'clock. And also, what I wanted to mention is logistic care is for people who have Medicaid. So if you have Medicare, you cannot use logistic care. You have to have Medicaid to use logistic care. And just bear in mind, like there are some tactics that you could use for logistic care by trying to book your appointment in advance than it was intended to be, meaning if it's for 10 o'clock, book it for 8 o'clock so that you could spare yourself the disappointment. And just bear in mind, you will need the complaint line and the ride assist line to ask for your ride, because your ride will not be there when it says it will be. And that's an issue. And also, just wanted to mention, logistic care is non-emergent. And it's basically if you're going to doctor's appointment, if you're going to any type of specialist appointment, you could use logistic care. And I really love this about logistic care, that say for example a senior is able to ambulate independently, or they are able to use the wheelchair as their primary mode of locomotion by wheeling the chair independently, they'll send a taxi for you, a Uber for you. So instead of having that big ambulance come for you, they'll have the Uber, which I think is a pretty cool thing to have, especially if you ambulate and want to go out in the community. They'll have that for you too. And I've seen people use logistic care for non-medical services, meaning that they want to visit family. They're in the nursing home and they want to visit family. They've called logistic care and they'll pull up at the hospital for them with a Uber, which I think is actually a good thing. And when you use the Uber services, I think the services is more faster, because you have to remember, if logistic care is going to, say for example, logistic care is going to Hackensack Medical Center to pick up a patient at 4 o'clock, you have to bear in mind they're not coming to pick up that patient at 4 o'clock as the only patient. They probably have to stop at Bergen Regional to pick up someone that was supposed to be picked up at 3 o'clock, and they probably have to stop at Valley. So they're not making single trips. They're taking up a lot of people different places. So that's why you have to, bear into consideration why they take that long. But when they use Uber services, though they do pick up multiple people, it's kind of faster, because you have to bear in mind they don't have to load anybody on the ramp. They don't have to assist anybody to lock them down. So that that alone takes a lot of time. So just bear in mind when you're making your reservation. Remember when I talked about local transportation? I was referring to towns. So, for example, if you live in Vineland, you live in Edison, you live in Fairlawn, you live in any town in the state of New Jersey, they do have transportation. Some may be more effective than others. And so, for example, if you want senior transportation, you could just call the town and ask for options that they have available. Or you could call the senior services. Like every town has a senior service department, which I think is pretty accessible if you want to find resources. And also, if you are a very resourceful person, you could also find other agency in towns that provide services through a 501c3 company, such as a charity. They may provide additional services to seniors in the community. Maybe they have a special grant and they're providing transportation for a number of years through that specific grant. So that's always an option. And a lot of people do not know this, even though you would think this is common knowledge. So I just wanted to put this information out there so people are able to access this information. And while I cannot label or list all the towns in all 21 counties in New Jersey that have transportation options, I just want to, let you guys know they do have. So I had a few here, such as Bergen County, which is in Lodi. You'll call the number and you'll be able to get transportation services. And if you are in Passaic County, you could call Wanacue, you could call Ringwood. the aging services department, and they'll be able to tell you, what routes the senior bus goes to and their availability and how you can be able to access that transportation. These are some other options for private pay, meaning that you could pay out of pocket without insurance or anything. So you have TLC Mobile, which is the ambulance service. You have Zoom Ride for Seniors, which is similar to the traditional Zoom. You have A&M medical transportation on time and other rides available. So all you have to do is just Google them, and I provided some here so you could use this as your basis to start with finding transportation if you do not have the options for the previous one that I discussed. These are generally some of the main options that are available. Here are a few more. So I normally focus on North Jersey, but I think I have some for South Jersey as well. So here are a few. This is not an exhaustive list, so you could use the good old Google to search for whatever you're looking for. But I just want to put it out there that these are options that are available. And yes, as mentioned before, we have the county transportation, which means that every county, all 21 counties in New Jersey, do provide transportation for seniors and those who are disabled. And thank you for watching this video. If you have any question, please send all your questions to the Center for Wellness Solutions. Or if you have any questions, you could put them in the comment section below. And thank you guys for watching.